You fucking, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, I don't want to just dodge each other either. Where to
I'd be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's still only our second one. Fuck it, like, if it is what it is, like, we'll get better. This is our second episode of our podcast. Welcome back. If you're watching, thanks for looking. If you're listening, thanks for listening. Our podcast is called Everything from Nothing, and this is the first episode where we have our own host. Last episode was more of a kind of bit of a, like, I suppose, like an insight of our weekly meetings, more so than valuable information.
Yeah, well,
valuable for us, maybe not for you.
We've had that chat about 9 times.
Yeah, and now we've had it with you once, so now we're done with it. Yeah, so our first guest is Oskar Lipinski. He's created his own clothing brand. He's a personal trainer, and he looks after baby flamingos in his spare time. Is that you, or is it someone else? No, that's the wrong person. Yeah. As we're going to start with, like, your personal trainer, like, can you explain kind of for the people that don't know, not that it's in the name or anything, what it is, like, what a personal trainer is?
So, like, a personal trainer is basically someone, like, that just helps you, whether, like, if you go into the gym and you've no knowledge of the gym or how to use the equipment or whatever it is, or you can, like, hire a personal trainer to help you achieve your goals. So whether it's you want to gain weight, lose weight, improve in your sport, which, like, I wouldn't be more, like, into, like, that's more like strength and conditioning.
Okay,
I'd be kind of more into, like, just say weight loss and, like, muscle gain and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or just overall, like, just kind
of the motivational side of things. Yeah.
But, like, with the way, like, when I do personal training, one thing with me is whatever about, like, helping someone gain or lose weight or whatever, I like to, like, I love when I have a challenge, when I have people that have, because obviously, like a lot of it is your mindset. So, like, if you don't have a positive mindset, if your mindset isn't in it, well, you're not going to achieve your goals, like, you know, because you'll just feel like giving up the whole time, or, like, you just won't stick to your diet or whatever it is, like, you know. So I love, and I've changed people's mindset before. I love improving people's mindset as well as, like, improving their overall appearance, their body, or whatever it is, you know.
You need a bit of external pressure, don't you? You need somebody, like, breathing down your neck or saying, I see you on Wednesday morning. You need somebody else's disappointment.
The feeling of letting someone down.
Even, like, when I just say, when I got, like, my best friend to kind of do the same to me, is like, literally, like, kind of, like, put pressure on me that, like, I do this, and, like, like, literally promise you that I'm going to do this, because then you feel like you're actually doing it for someone. Like, you know, when, like, just say it's just you don't, like, you don't feel that it's as important. Do you know that kind of
thing? Well, I was actually talking about that with actually you the other day. We were talking about kind of, I was just talking about, like, how I'll force myself to do, like, a bit of exercise when I'm at home or whatever, but it's because I was doing it in the gym for a while, but I couldn't stay doing it. It just wasn't worth going there to do it for me. But what we were talking about is it doesn't feel worth, not everyone knows, some people, but, like, if your goal is to just do exercise for the sake of doing it, it doesn't seem to be as motivating. But, like, what we were saying is that if there's, like, an end goal, like, say you're training for kickboxing or something like that, but, like, I suppose the end goal in that sense of things is you're doing it because someone's telling you to do it, so you know what you're trying to achieve. Whereas if I'm just trying to do exercise at home for the sake of doing that, there's no goal. I can't picture one, like, it's...
I know a girl, she's talking about the CrossFit, you know? And that sounds, to me, it sounds like the kind of perfect situation where you're going in and there's a sort of a team and, you know, you're doing those sit-ups or whatever, and I can't really do them. But what am I saying? I'm saying that there's a kind of, there's a team mentality. It's like a squad. They're all up there applying themselves to their own level. And you can come in and they'll be starting to spotting you or encouraging you or telling you to come in, you know, start there.
I mean, like, it does help a lot when you have people around you kind of supporting you on what you do. And I think that's why people come in to me or whatever and go, do you know what, actually, I'm looking for a personal trainer, I'd like you to train me, is because they kind of want that little push from me and that bit of motivation, because, again, they don't want to let, you know, they can let themselves down, but they don't want to let me down.
You do have,
drive and stuff to it, so... I mean, it works, like.
And so what motivated you in the first place to get into it?
I mean, I suppose, like, when I was younger, I always liked sport, whether it was hurling or volleyball or soccer. I tried all sorts of sports. I'd say I played I played a lot of sport, from tennis to boxing to basketball to volleyball to, you know, I tried everything, like, you know, and I've always loved sport all my life. So like when I was like playing sport, I kind of got into the gym side of it then, and then the gym side of it kind of took over the sport side. So all I done then was just gym. Like I was addicted to gym, like literally like going in there every day after school and just you know, kind of going in training and stuff. But I think a lot of the time was because obviously school, I never got on well in school, and like I used to be always like angry and stuff. I think it was a really good way of just getting my like anger out and like taking my anger out on something that isn't like people or your family, you
in
know,
a healthy manner, like. I think as well it could be a sense of getting that alone time in the gym compared to why maybe because you were doing the sports, but the thing is that's when it's like the opposite. It's like you're with the team mentality, and it's like you're doing it with the people that could essentially not even be making you angry, but just the people that would be in your environment that's making you angry in the first place. So you're trying to let that out while you're around them can be difficult. But whereas like maybe it's kind of if you go to the gym, you've got your own space and you can do what you want to do.
Something more contemplative about it's doing like, this stuff, and you're just more.
Yeah, I think you kind of get into your zone, like, you know, like just you're totally spaced out, like, because when I train, like I wouldn't be on my phone, like, you know, well, about 99% of the time. Sometimes I might have to take an important phone call, whatever it is, like, or reply to a messenger. But most of the time when I go into the gym, it's just literally like my timer, my headphones, my music, and that's just it, like, you know. It's just focus, like, and like what, like even on days like, you know, where you feel really bad or whatever, and you're like, oh, this day is going crap and everything. And there's like some days I went into the gym, like just like I took that kind of negativity or anger or whatever it was inside me to like basically like push myself in the gym. Like it's mad. I kind of try like mess around with my energy and my brain, like to kind of push me in the gym or something, you know, try kind of it's like I'm getting angry inside, but I'm getting angry at myself, so I'm like taking that energy out on like just say pushing big weight or like finishing my last few reps or something. You know?
There's no I don't think you could possibly go in and do exercise and come out and feel worse. Like you always feel at least I did that with me time. You know what I mean? Maybe I've done nothing else, but at least I've done that. And you're kind of okay. You know.
There's something we're going to talk about as well, is like the mental, like the effect it has on positive mental health. Like you've probably seen that yourself, like, and it's the one thing that everyone who has tried it, who is in like a low state, like mentally, everyone who has tried it has agreed 100% of the time exercise helps them. Like there isn't yet one person come out and say no, it doesn't help me. There are people that say they don't feel it's like overly effective, but like it definitely like helps in some way. Like what do you think? Do you have any ideas of why that is? Like what is it? I
suppose there's all these, I don't know, the science base to it. You know, there's all these, it lets off this chemical in your brain and it actually does physically like mentally. Dopamine or something?
Endorphins.
Something like that. I don't know. It's something like that anyway. It like triggers it in your head or something. And that apparently improves it. But I don't know, like I think we're just so sometimes stuck at home and stuck in the same place, and it's even the matter of just going out for a walk or whatever.
Like, taking a break from your environment.
You know, it's like sometimes we're surrounded by such negative people and just working or in front of a computer and a phone. We're like just going out there and having a walk around the green or around the town or whatever. It's just, it can be refreshing.
Flips the script, like.
You know, it's like, and then you just, and like sometimes like you go on these walks and you never know what, like who you could meet or what could happen. You know, that kind of way. So it's cool. Like you might meet one of your friends that you haven't met in 10 years, and then that like just makes everything better. Like, but you know, again, like that's in kind of the overall environment, not in just the gym environment. You know, because like people think like working out as just going in like lifting weights or doing this. Like, it's not. Like you can exercise by going for a walk or run or cycle or swim, or you know, it's not just all.
It's not something you have to dedicate your whole life to, like to just get.
Yeah.
And an added benefit is you wash yourself afterwards. So like, you know, okay, I feel like fucking shit, you know. Then you go out and you run around or do whatever you're doing. You're like, okay, I've done some work, and now I'm fresh. So like, okay, I'm several points up here now than I was, you know.
That was interesting what you said about going for a walk. I find like what you said was like if you go for a walk, you might meet someone that every time like I've like suppose like being in kind of a sad state or whatever, I'd be like, okay, I go for a walk. Every time I think of, I've met someone that has like completely flipped it every time. And I think what that is just about like going out and trying something. And it's not saying a walk in general, but it's when you're in that state, it's about not trying to escape that state, but doing something about that you could, like doing something about it. Like,
outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You go out for a walk and you meet that lad or this owl one or thing, and you just have those kind of meaningless chats, but you actually put your tentacles out, like.
Yeah, you're putting yourself out there to be approached, like. I think, we were saying that before, actually.
I actually find it very hard to just say go for a walk, because like for me it's like if I have to walk from like A to B, I have no problem doing that. I enjoy walking. I have no problem walking. Rather than getting a lift kind of thing. But like when it's just like go for a walk, I don't necessarily understand that. It's like I feel too awkward because I don't know what I'm meant to be doing.
I should have been going faster, slow now.
Yeah, it's I don't know. But the only exercise I've ever really enjoyed was like years ago when I was like 15, 16, I think it was. I did like athletics and I did sprinting and like.
Yeah.
I did fairly well at it for the time I was there, like, and I was like, it was really weird because I've never had that experience only for that sport. Any other sport I've tried, like when I was in primary school, people like 2 or 3 years ahead of me, or 2 or 3 years behind me would have been starting on the the head of me, like that kind of thing. Like, so
you weren't getting the good feedback from it.
I did definitely get, like you were saying, that whole thing of like the positive like motivation and stuff you do get from sport and stuff. It is really nice, like, but I think part of it is kind of like, you know, when people get sucked into games nowadays, it's like you've short-term goals, and short-term goals are addictive. Okay. So I think it's actually a much more healthy way to apply the fact that works, because if you're in a gym and you're kind of setting these short-term goals for I need to reach this, I need to reach that, you're getting that kind of release or that kind of achievement each time you reach it. So I think that's why it becomes just as addictive as like a video game.
Okay, that's really interesting, mate. But you were talking about making an app before. It was like
trying to use serotonin loops to encourage people to achieve things.
Wait! Someone might steal this idea now. Someone might steal this idea.
There's similar things like it, but for what
don't steal the idea. Don't steal the idea. But it's really good. Like
I started to get frustrated, I think, in my 20s with playing soccer, like, you know, 6-a-side or 5-a-side or whatever, because I think I was disappointing myself. I couldn't do those things that I thought I could do, and I was like, "Oh, fuck this," you know.
Yeah.
It was more like I was getting frustrated inside in the hall, so I was thick after it. Whereas I think now I'm, you know, much more drawn to those individual things like jogging, swimming, where it's just about you, you know, and your own expectations, and like building incrementally, slowly, like, you know.
Yeah. It's
definitely standing to you, as opposed to going out and playing 6-a-side. And being fucking annoyed. And then going home and be like, fucking, or somebody kicked you. And you're like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Next week it's coming around and like, I don't want to go. You know?
Yeah, I guess it's like, they both do the same thing, like working with a team or working on it. You're both getting exercise, like you're going to get a bit healthier. But the difference is one is like personal development and the other is like developing a collective team, like, which is a whole different, like, it's harder to do that for more of a mental aspect, like of a way to...
There's too much going on just to have that mental...
You do need both, like, it's like, because there's times where, like, you could spend too much time by yourself and you'll feel like you need that connection with other people, you need that community.
Yeah, there needs to be balance.
Then there's times where, like, as much as you might love people, you'll be around them so much, it can be exhausting, like, you feel like you do need your space, like, even if when you have your space, you're still doing, like, the same things you would have been doing with your friends, the fact you're doing it on your time and stuff like that can be beneficial. So, like, I think a mix of, like, team things as well as, like, individual things.
But you know, you talk about team building, you know, I don't think soccer delivers that in terms of going with the friends and playing against each other and trying to beat each other. You know, team building, like, classically would be what, you know, rowing or something, or
I get what you mean,
you know, where you're helping each other. Do you know what I mean?
That depends on the style of coaching as well, I suppose, for soccer. Some soccer teams obviously would put preference, like, if you're a team, like, whereas other people, like, when some people will go into a team sport and although they know they're part of a team, they might feel like, oh no, I have to prove myself, and it's all a personal thing. So it's like, I suppose it all comes down to what soccer team it is or what sport.
But like you said, personal development, you know.
But then sometimes, like, I think one person can drive other people on to improve them as well in a team.
Yeah,
that's when you see people like I noticed, because like it was kind of in our team, you see someone doing well, you're like, oh, I'd love to be taking that free the next time, you know. Like, that's actually interesting. You kind of train or do whatever at home to kind of improve yourself and make sure that next time when there's a free, like, you're the one getting picked for it, because you've kind of proved yourself, and then another person looks at you going, do you know what, I'd love to get up there, like,
and like, cool. Do you feel like you get you meet that goal or target, you know? Do you know what I mean? Like, as a short-term gain, you're chasing this.
When does it end? Like,
you're chasing this lad that's marginally ahead of you at the moment. and you're both fucking training hard, and you never quite get to take the free kick, and you're like, fucking hell.
Even if you don't reach it, it's like the hope of reaching it. By the time you give up that hope, like you've already gotten payoff.
That's
like,
what
you've already improved to where you were when you started.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't matter that you didn't reach that goal. Like it's okay to not achieve something. You can try something and fail. Like
Yeah, I don't know. I'm too insecure to
taker.
measure myself against somebody else. I just need to be left alone now. Leave me alone, running on my own.
Yeah. I suppose it could probably, like, is there anything, did growing up in Thurles have any effect on, do you think you would have ended up going the same path you did if you didn't grow up in Thurles? If you grew up in Templemore, actually, yeah,
or Warsaw or whatever.
Clonmel, or, do you know, like, do you think, was there anything in Thurles that kind of motivated you towards, like, or was it the lack of stuff in Thurles?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, like, when I was younger, I didn't obviously have a great start. Like, I made a video, I don't know if you watched it or not, I made a video about, like, you know, like, my past and stuff and where I was before. And one thing about that video as well is, like, what I was trying to explain is, like, I didn't have the worst past. Like, I didn't go off and take heroin and, you know, do all this mad stuff.
Yeah.
But the road that I went down and I was going down, could have ended up there. And for me to pull myself back, I felt like it was something good that I done, and I'm very, very grateful for that today, because again, like, I wouldn't have had this if I didn't do that, like, you know. And I mean, like, again, like, it's kind of like, just, I don't know, I don't even know what kind of triggered in my head to even do just that, happened. You know. It's like, I was kind of like,
did it feel like an overnight thing out of nowhere? Like,
it was just kind of like everyone was just going wrong, and then, like, it kind of built up, and I was like, you know what, I'm just sick of this. Like, I'm just sick of getting in trouble the whole time, and sick of, like, just doing all this. But, like, you know, I don't, like, one thing I don't like as well is people saying just, oh, Thurles is small, so I'm never going to get anywhere in life. Like, I don't like that mentality, because, like, you're telling me you're not doing anything because Thurles is small. But, like, so you move to another city, how is that going to change your mindset? You're like, if you don't do something now, it doesn't matter, like, what you get in life or what you like, where you move, you're never going to do it, because you're going to keep the same mindset. You know, you're always going to find a problem in something or in your town, or, you know. Whereas, like, one thing with me is I try to think like a lot of the time, obviously I do have days where I'm like, oh, it's just, you know, like, oh, I can't stand this or whatever.
And you always will, and that's just part of it. Like,
that's just part of it. But one thing is just finding, like, the positive of it, or finding, like, something good about it, or something you've learned from this, not just, oh, do you know what, like, I hate doing this, or, you know, like, something like that. Like, so I don't even know if that answered your question.
No, that definitely does. It was actually kind of what I was hoping.
And I was thinking, you know, at this point now, people are listening or watching this, have we explained, like, you know, have we profiled you as such, Oskar?
Yeah, well, I was just going to go on to...
We talked about personal training, but, anyway. You're the man with cheese.
Go on.
So, Oskar Lipinski is a man living in Thurles. Grew up in Thurles.
What's your favourite colour?
I don't even know that. That's actually one thing.
And he launched like a year ago or something.
Yeah, it's Club Deluxe. It's your own clothing brand essentially. So you want to explain about that? Your what's the word? What kind of thing? Slogan is don't think limits.
Yeah. So
which can I just say, like, it's actually already, like, don't think limits, like, as you were saying about doing things in Thurles, you've already thought of a much better slogan than Nike. Like, a Nike slogan, just do it. Like, it's very vague. Like, it could be thinking about
do what? Like?
Thinking about
just
driving.
Stop procrastinating.
Drink driving. Like, I was drink driving one time, and I seen someone with a t-shirt saying "just do it," so I stayed drinking. But anyway, I think your quote is much better. Anyway, don't think limits. Do you want to talk about your brand?
So basically, like, I started doing, like, going to the gym, then started doing Instagram, and, like, started gaining followers, starting, like, posting, like, my body transformation and, like, all this. I also got into, like, modelling, and from there I started off with a brand called Zodiac, and then I progressed myself on with them. I got good opportunities. They brought me to, like, England, Spain, and paid for all my flights, got paid on top of it.
This is like an agency, is it?
No, this is like a clothing brand.
Okay, right.
So I got very good friendly with them. Like, they sorted me out so much. Like, they've helped me so much. Like, and the opportunities I got with them were so good. Like I used to just get free clothes off, and I'm still in good touch with them, you know, because I didn't want to just go, look, I have my own brand here. Look,
burn bridges.
Do you know? Because I still respect them, and the guys that own.
What kind of clothes were like? Casual clothes.
It's kind of similar to mine a bit.
Okay, alright, yeah.
So like I wouldn't see them as like competition, you know. It's more like helping each other than anything else. Like.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, like that's where the idea came from. Then is like, I was like, right, so I'm working with these brands. It's like, again, like it's hard to like. I wish I actually like tracked this process and like write it down, because I think it'd be a cool book or something to launch. But now I'm kind of like regretting. It's like what thought came into your head to do this, and it's like I don't know. It's like. I was like, right, I'm modeling for brands. Why can't I do this myself? You know, I kind of looked into it, and at first I didn't know anything, like literally nothing. I didn't know a manufacturer was. I didn't know graphic designers was. I didn't know you had to do this. I didn't know you had to do that. I didn't know you had to pay VAT, all this stuff, you know. Yeah. So it was just brand new to me, like, and I started off with nothing. Anyway, I started like looking into stuff and, like manufacturers and what t-shirt I wanted. It was first meant to be gym wear. What was it meant to be called? Perfit, actually. I was meant to call it Perfit.
That's a cool name.
Because it was meant to be the perfect fit.
Yeah, that's actually a cool name.
Because like obviously these are like kind of nice and tight fit. They're meant to be the perfect fit, so it's meant to be Perfit. And then as I like looked into it more and like done other stuff on it, I looked into like different names and different logos, and I just came up with this logo with a graphic designer, and then the name, like he actually gave me the name that he wanted to use before. So like I didn't actually come up with this name. So he actually gave it me, and I was kind of asking people, I was like, what do you think of this? They're like, oh man, that sounds so cool. Like, and obviously then like when I started doing like all this like developing myself, and I started like listening to all these books and stuff, that's where the Don't Think Limits came along then, because when I started this brand, obviously in such a small town, a lot of people, I think they were very like against what I was doing. It's like, how are you gonna ever succeed like in such a small town? Like, you know, what are you doing like when a clothing brand? That's such a big thing. Like, so you're telling me you're going up against Nike and you're going up against 11 Degrees, and like, you know, a lot of people doubted me. So I think like that's why at the back of the t-shirts, and it's only like a little small print, but I had to get it there because I want people to feel a connection to my brand. I don't want people to just buy my brand and go, okay, here, look, there's a brand, it's a nice t-shirt. I want people to feel a connection to the brand, that they can associate. Like I want them to not think limits, you know, like I did when I was creating it. Like I didn't think any limits, because, and another thing actually, another cool thing with this is when I was actually saving up for this brand, because obviously this doesn't cost 500 euro or 1,000 euro, there's a lot more money than that involved in it. When I was saving up for this brand, with the job I was in, there was no way I could have got the money that I wanted for this brand, but I wrote up this goal on my on a sheet, and I stuck it on my wall, and I worked hard and I done everything I could. Even like if I got full time, I still wasn't gonna be able to get this money. But like I don't care, like I'm just putting it out there and putting it out there into the world that I want this, and I'm willing to do anything for it. And like I started working really hard on it, and I started like doing everything I could, like staying up late, like literally put my whole heart and soul into this. And then all these like little jobs here and there, even like social media advertising or whatever, started coming my way. Then I like started selling everything in my house just to get money for this brand. Like I sold my camera there.
So this was all personal money. There wasn't any like pitches or business meetings where you're looking for capital investors.
No, it was just like it was just all my money, like, and that's you know, like that was like my main thing. And then like after a while, then I got a new job, and I started getting. I forgot about that goal actually that I'd written up. And I just kept working hard. And then like I written down the month I wanted this money by. And then like I looked back in that month, and I looked at my account, and I had 500 euro more than what I'd written down. And I think it just goes to show like this whole law of attraction stuff and this mindset and how
do you believe in manifestation?
Oh, like I am a big believer in that. And like 100%, and that was like a proven way of this whole like manifestation kind of thing. And it was like
what, like dress for the job you want kind of thing, or like
the same thing is like, so I think there's right now like the whole idea of manifestation is like there are millionaires now, like people who have made millions, and you're into like motivational. I'm sure you would have come across these kind of people as well, because you'd be looking at like Gary Vee and
Yeah.
these are all like personal speakers and stuff like that, but they are all like literally talking about how they manifested it and how they, but there's the thing is, it can come across as a very like wide, like bizarre kind of crazy idea to anyone, but the thing is, there's a mix between doing two things, and that is, you can manifest things, and people say, why don't you just manifest the lottery? Why don't you just manifest, or why don't you just manifest all the money and then kind of sit at home? There's the trick is, and you explained it perfectly, and I always have struggled having an example for this, but he just gave one, which is, you need to both put yourself out there and be like manifest at the same time. So you need to think it, but you need to, as you said, going for a walk, so you're also like, or I'll use your example, which was better, was like,
I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, you have to, you can't just sit at home and it's like, it's hard to explain, like, but
I know exactly. So you can't just like, you can't just like sit there at home thinking of this thing you want and then just sit in your bed for the whole day.
Yeah.
Because like, how are you meant to meet that person that you need? How are you meant to find that product you want, like, without you just sitting there doing nothing? It's like, I think like it's the whole thing with Gary Vee as well, when he says like give, and then you'll eventually get back.
That's
like,
what he does, and he's one of the richest guys in the world. Like, they all are.
I really believe in that. Like especially when you give to people as well, like it always comes back. Like,
and I think the argument would be for people who don't believe in it would say, well, obviously if you're going out doing things, it's going to happen. But the thing is, it's not just like that. It's like when you're actually doing these things for yourself, you will see too many things happen that are way too bizarre for it to have just been because you did it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when you're like manifesting something, or you're believing, or you want something to happen, and then you go outside, like, and then you meet that one person that like you've never met before, you don't know, you never talk to them, like you just don't know anything about them, and then like you sit down at the park because you went for a walk because you were sad because you weren't getting closer to your dream. But then when you sit down and then there's some random person who has the exact same dreams as you sits down beside you, like that's where it's like, okay, that's the answer to, like, it's not just because you went out and did it. Because why did those two people sit down there at the same time? Is like, I think that's the law of attraction. So you cannot just sit at home and want it all. You have to do both. Like,
I think another example of law of attraction in my life right now or whatever is my life back then and my life now. Everything in my life back then, all I was attracting was negativity and trouble in my life. Whereas now, like, I'm not saying I have the perfect life and my life is full of positivity. I have obviously my bad days. Yeah. But if you look at the scale of positive towards negative in my life right now, it's a lot more positive. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Whereas before, it's like negative. And even more negative. So I think that's
do treat yourself, like, you do kind of have to be like a magnet. You have to like see yourself as like the magnet, and that's kind of the thing. It's like, and it's also like, if you hang around with like people that you think are bad, then you are going to end up in bad places. It's kind of, it's as simple as that. Like, it's like,
well, I mean, you've been imagining community development, and you've been kind of in your mind for the last year or 18 months and 2 years. So I suppose all your chats, all your interactions.
Yeah.
This is kind of seeping out, like.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like,
because you can imagine the way the town could be, or the crack you'd have, or the relationships you'd
clear vision.
All the chats, stuff's just coming out unknowns to you, like.
Yeah,
and that's kind of coming out.
That's where I think it's fair for people to argue that, all this stuff mightn't be real, is because it will come across as bullshit if you don't have a clear vision of what you want. Right. That is the hard part. The hard part isn't just getting what you want in life. I think the hard part is knowing what you want in life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think when you know what you want, just like it's tunnel vision from there.
Yeah. Exactly. And I but I can actually give I can actually really agree with that, because when I was doing that whole getting that money, it was full tunnel vision. And to be honest, now, like, I've so much information, I've so much ways of making money where I kind of don't even have that tunnel vision, and I'm trying to get back to tunnel vision again. Because I've met so, like, and I'm grateful for it. Funny, I've met so much good people that have so much, like, I think I'm overfloated myself with information, which is good, but it's bad in a way as well, because I've lost my tunnel vision. Yeah. Do you get me?
No, 100%.
So, like,
100%.
It's good in a way, but then it's bad, like,
Yeah. I go through phases of like I'll think of an idea or like even if something, it could be something simple, and that's the thing as well. Not all these things have to be big things as well. Like it could be something simple like you think of one project, whether it's making a song or whatever, and then like while you're doing that project, all these other like ideas and stuff just start coming towards you, and then you start trying to do all of them when you've forgotten about the one that you wanted to do in the first place. And then that's when I see what you're saying, when your mind becomes like clustered. Like you get like brain fog, I think is the way like kind of talk about it, is when you've like too much, which is like can be a bad thing. Like it can affect what you wanted in the first place. Which is interesting.
Do any of you watch Bob Proctor?
I know the name. I definitely heard his name.
Oh, he's so cool. Like he talks about this thing about this knowing and doing gap as well.
Okay.
Like, so he talks about how much we all know as humans, but how much we all do. So like you might know, not to do this, but like you do this anyway. Do you get me? Or you might know you have to do this, but you're not going to do this anyway. Do you get me?
Yeah.
It's like, and I love, like one thing I love is like people like that, like 80-year-old guys that are. I mainly listen to guys. No offense to women or anything, but I mainly listen to guys. And I just love people like that are like 80 or whatever, and they're just full of knowledge and full of like all these mad things. But these mad things are simple things in your head that you're aware of, but you're not fully using them because you don't know how powerful they are because you've never tried them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
So it's like we know this information because it's simple, but we don't actually know how powerful it is because we've never used it, because through a really young age we've all been like kind of nearly all small-minded and stuff, and then you hear this information and your mind just opens up so much. You're like, whoa, like,
and it's all, and like anything that's like any bit of information that I've heard, that's like I've heard things that were very complex, and like, and I'll think into it, it'll take time to think into it, but one, and then I'll be like, okay, that's cool and could help me in life, but the things or the like stuff I've heard of that has like transformed my life in some way or has made like a big difference overnight was one simple quote or one simple do this, like, and it was something so simple that everyone could do right now. Like it's never anything complex, like, and I think, I don't know, as you're saying, like it's all stuff that's right there and we have access to now, and this isn't even talking about like manifestation or anything kind of spiritual or anything like that. It's just stuff like getting up early could like do you know what I mean? I think it's a case of everyone just trying different things.
But I mean, at the end of the day as well, by getting up early, that's one habit like you've already made or whatever it is, and like that's one good thing you've already done, so that already puts you in a good mindset, whatever, it's, and then
back to the small goals that you're saying,
that puts you onto a further thing in your day. So like later on you might do one more thing and that'll be good again. But why have you done that one more thing is because you're happy with what you've done when you woke up, and your mind is kind of like...
momentum.
Yeah,
momentum, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's momentum.
But it's like, when people are lazy or like they don't want to do something, like they won't do it. But then just say they get the motivation or they get the courage, whatever, to do that thing, then they start doing it and they start kind of improving bit by bit, and then that good routine becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I'd say the not doing it can be momentum as well. You can get fucking stuck.
That's
it's like, now I'm getting up. But I'm getting up later. I was never able to get up early, so I've that to look forward to in my life. But the not doing.
That's
and
actually.
Then you wonder why you can't do things, and then people are meeting Oskar and they're like, "Why are you bothering doing that at all?" They're kind of gone backwards and backwards.
I mean, like before when I was working on this whole thing, it was like, I loved getting up before everyone else. Like I loved like getting up dark and
when it's quiet,
like no one
out.
The traffic. I'm like, I'm one of the people that are out doing this, and like, there's no one else doing this, and I felt like a sense of achievement because like I'm like there's no one else out there doing this, because like where is everyone? Everyone's asleep, and that's I like doing things like to be honest, I actually get a lot more motivated at night for some reason. I don't know why. It's crazy.
More creative at night.
I stay up. Rather than getting up early though, I stay up late. Like, so because I tend to dip a lot. Like I'd be more in lows than I am in highs. Like when I'm in lows, I don't want to do anything. Like I just horribly lazy. But when I'm in highs, it's just like every element of creativity just suddenly it's just like I need to do this, I need to do that. I want to write a new song. I want to write a poem. Like
it's always at night.
It's always at night time. So it's always the time when I have to try and be a bit quieter. But at the same time, it is nice as well. That's why I like having a laptop, because I can use the headphones and all that.
Yeah.
But I do find night time, it's just because it's quieter. There's less distraction, and like I get very easily distracted by loud noises or sound, like lights or whatever. Like.
It's back to just being like, because when you're being creative, it's about being in your head. So when you have it in your head, you know, the less outside noises. Like obviously, you'll be more creative and focused on what you're thinking.
One thing I do find interesting though, like a lot of people have theorized it though, but it's just the whole thing of when you think about like creative minds. Generally speaking, most people, like I know most people go through lows and highs, but like people with creative minds seem to suffer through a lot more lows. And like I was thinking about it one day, just trying it myself, and I was like, I think you could almost view it as negative creativity. It's like positive creativity we think of as like poetry, arts, like all that kind of stuff. But if you think about it, if you're in your head and you can create the most beautiful and most perfect scenario, then that means if you were to go the opposite of that, you can also create like the most paranoid, most delusional thing you can. So it is like negative creativity. So I think that's why a lot of creative people do fall into those, and it's very hard. It's very hard to get out of the positive thinking, but still hold on to a lot of that creativity.
But there's also a really weird thing with that as well. Like it's 100%. Whichever, like, look at, like, find the most negative band you can ever come across, like the most aggressive negative band, and you go into the comments, and the comments will be, "Thank your music saved my life," all the time, and it's the most negative. Like I don't know the answer to that, but I think it's because the person commenting will resonate with someone, and maybe it's kind of a sense of, okay, I'm not the only one out there, like, so they feel, so it's saying with like Nine Inch Nails music, they're probably the best for that, like, example of that, like, the most depressing stuff you will, like, ever come across, but yet it makes people feel so happy because they can relate, so it's a weird thing, is like, the negative creativity,
it's like, when I'm sad, I generally listen to the Smiths, and like, you can't get, like, the Smiths are fairly low, like,
actually, Smiths are one of them bands for me.
I don't know what it is, it's just, there's something about, like, I don't know, because I'm not one of those people who relates to quotes a lot. I tend to read quotes, and they just seem like words. But every now and then, like, I can nearly count the number of times quotes or things people said have really spoken to me.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time was only a few years ago. There's a guy called Neil Hilborn, and he's a slam poet. And there was one where he was talking about what it's like to be like in love with OCD, and then there was another one where he was talking about like depression and bipolar. Yeah. And it was just some of the quotes he used in that. It was the first time in my life I'd ever actually felt like, that's powerful. Like every other time, that's just words.
Yeah.
So like, it's really interesting. Like
when it hits you, like
when motivation, like, because I'm not used to I'm not a very motivated person most of the time. So like when I do get the bouts of it, I'm really, really appreciative because like, it's great how it just comes out of nowhere though.
Yeah, I suppose then like it'll hit you more. Like I think that's the thing as well. Like I kind of I suppose I'm delusionally motivated. Like in sometimes, and then like sometimes I'm not. And when I'm not, I'm not. Like it's just. But like, I think that's part of it, and everyone kind of has their different like levels of it.
Oh yeah.
But the ones that don't get motivated don't need to feel like, because everyone's different. That's the thing. There's no right or wrong way to be motivated. Like if you're not a motivated person and you do get motivated, as you said, it'll be more powerful. So for anyone that only gets motivated now and again, like just try and really like go for it when it does come up. Like is the thing.
What I've started trying to do then as well is trying to be aware of your time then as well. Like try to actually motivate yourself. It's like So if you're someone who like it is go linking in with the whole positive thinking stuff as well. If you're someone who finds yourself lying in bed a lot and just up in your own head, like I've started to try to just do, rather than stare at my phone and flick through my phone, because I know if I'm awake I'm not going to sleep till 3 or 4 o'clock. No matter how much I try, I'll just toss and turn. I have to do something. But rather than looking at my phone and playing games or doing something that doesn't really help, you're better off just kind of even writing a poem or writing a story 100%. Or channeling that into something. So you're using that time in some way possible. So then when you get your boost of motivation, then you have all this information there of stuff you've already started. You've already taken the first step, the half step forward.
Yeah. That's actually good.
So,
And as I said, I think the main, like, kind of not the main thing, sorry, but the one thing, as you said, like, and it's kind of not really going what you're saying, but is the phone, like, 100%, like the best way to, like, if you use your phone to try and fall asleep, you'll do it eventually, but you'll probably get more tired by reading or writing.
Yeah, well, I personally still use my phone, but I'll write notes on my phone. I'll turn off my internet. I'll do crosswords.
Yeah, but you're not getting like endorphin rushes of like some Facebook posts.
And I have a filter on my phone, so I'm not the blue light
flux. Is it?
It's just where the blue light doesn't keep you horribly awake.
I have that as well. I recently this company sent me a UV glass as well.
No way. Like so, what you wear them
wear them on your phone? Yeah,
alright, that's cool.
Quite cool. Yeah. kind of helps you sleep a bit.
I feel like, if this comes into the bed, if this goes into your bedroom at all, it's
out
like,
of the bedroom. That's
okay, I know I'm kind of breaking the rules here. I'm looking at my fucking phone.
The reason
people have
you
nights
check your
out
phone
or
all the time
something.
is the same reason you wake up when the light comes in your window.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
we're
naturally attracted to blue light. Like.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing about that is I actually have a thing set on my phone where I have a limit set on my phone on the amount of hours I can spend on my apps. And what happens is they shut down then. Like, obviously you can unlock them, but I know...
It makes you aware of it.
Like, I know if it's 11 o'clock and that goes off, I've had such an unproductive day and I haven't done much today.
Stop talking now.
So I know if that goes off at 11 o'clock or whatever, I know that I've spent 3 hours on my phone, because that's what I said. I've spent 3 hours on my phone from the minute I woke up until 11 o'clock doing absolutely nothing, So that's a kind of a hint for me to go, okay, go do something, You spend 3 hours on your phone, it's only 11 o'clock, your time is up basically for your social media and that kind of stuff.
As somebody that spends a lot of time in my own house, I think if this is supposed to be physically, in one particular location, like it lives on the island where it's plugged in, and I can't actually bring it around in my pocket, so I can't sit in the couch and look at it. If I need to look at it, I stand at the island, kind of go, oh yeah, Kieran can't say blah blah blah, quite something, see a bit, and then I just put it back down. I can't bring it. Can't bring it anywhere else. That's where it is.
That's interesting. I think that is that, and it was the thing is why you shouldn't bring it into a bedroom is our brain associates. Our brain will you're always training your brain where you just always are. It's always learning. It's always knowing. It's always trying to pick up your routine. Where humans naturally like routine. It's just how it is. So our brains, when you are using a phone, this is the blue light. If you have the blue light in the bedroom, your brain starts associating the bedroom with what you call it, being awake. And this applies for eating food in the bedroom, and it also applies for doing work in the bedroom. You shouldn't
that's the conventional wisdom.
But
bedroom
you're better
is
off
dark
not
sleeping room.
That's where you sleep. You do your work in your office if you can get a space separate to the kitchen. If not, do it in the kitchen. But definitely eat your food in the kitchen and try not to use the phone in the bedroom. But it's your brain. It's about associating activities with places.
I can actually relate to that.
Positive routines.
It'll be easier to sleep when your brain only knows this is for sleeping and it does not associate with anything else.
I can actually agree with that, because I actually have my office in my room, my desk, and I have all the stuff. And
you don't stop.
Yeah, sometimes you'll be there, and sometimes the bed is there, so I'm you hop into bed, or it does really kind of mess with your head and stuff.
Or you can have the opposite, where you're meant to be going to sleep and suddenly you just get this idea and you're like, oh, the desk is right there. It's too easy access for you to get up straight, rather than just writing it down and go to sleep.
That's
I leave it as far.
It's just to leave it alone. Forget about it. The day is over. Just go to sleep and then just. That's the thing as well. I don't know what it is and it's definitely something trying to figure out for myself anyway. But it's just to know that you're done doing your work, or you're done doing your art or music or whatever. Just leave it alone and go back to it tomorrow. It's just but there's something that's just especially at night time, once it hits 9 o'clock. I could be tired all day and then it hits 9 o'clock. I'm just where'd that come from? The energy.
That's why it's weird. Again, the app thing I was saying before that I'd love to do. That's why I think that'd be helpful, because it helps, because it's much easier. Because if you're writing a song, or if you're writing poems, or you're doing anything creative, or anything to kind of get to where you want to be, or even if it's not necessarily something creative. I know technically everything's creative, but in terms of ideas. But it's sometimes hard to actually set the small goals, because you could finish doing something, but you're still on that buzz of doing the thing. They're what's the next step? What's the next step? You just want to keep getting stuck in. Whereas it is very hard to actually set your own personal things and be right, once I've done this much of it, I need to take a break. It's very hard. When you're in the moment and you're passionate about it, it's hard to actually stop.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's part of the goals thing. What you're saying is it'll be easier. I think it might be easier. For some people, it could be easier to go to sleep when you feel you've had your day. Whereas I think just say if I've been in a state where I've just if I've been upset over something for a few days in a row, the days all become one. Do you know what I mean? It's it can be hard to sleep if you're depressed or whatever, and the days all seem like one. Yeah. Whereas if you're in a kind of a state of a positive mind, you'll go out and even doing your small goals. So I think what you're talking about, your app would be effective for people who are sad, or kind of who are going through depression, to be able to set small goals.
I like the way you say sad. And then depression is like kind of a label that's it's like simply being sad.
They might necessarily.
I don't like. I did get depressed when I was really young. But I definitely don't I don't anymore. I haven't in a while anyway. But I get sad. Like everyone, like you go up and down. Like there's no like set structure or system to like kind of.
But it's like sadness is more of like a healthy, natural, regular thing, whereas depression is kind of that's more of a problem. Like the same way. Anger is natural, but rage is bad.
But depression isn't. Am I right in saying it's an actual like chemical imbalance? Like
it can be. Not everyone. Like some depression could be caused by like traumatic events. But like chemical imbalance is one of the very common ones. That's why they give you like SSRIs because it helps balance it out. It's serotonin in your brain. Like.
But so it's definitely harder. Like sadness is you can go through sadness. Like I think that's like the funny thing about like all like there's the best like I suppose call them influencers or motivational speakers that I know of are the ones that don't just say like be happy all the time. Yeah. That's bullshit. Like you just you can't be happy all the time. Like you can't be like thriving and happy. You can be happy most of the time, but you can't be thriving. Like always going up, like, cause it's just not how it works.
That's what I actually experienced recently as well with this whole brand and launch and everything. I was just at such a high point and like again, tunnel vision is like my life was just it was like until now like where I'm not at that point anymore really. Like you don't realize how good that is, that being so happy and like having that motivation to even get up out of bed or I don't know like. Go to the gym, because like again it goes back to that thing of getting into a good routine of the stuff just that I was doing before, the good stuff. Yeah. And then how like it can turn into like the bad ones where you don't have motivation and stuff. So I think like if you just keep doing the like good stuff and like feel grateful for just say when you are happy and like at the end of the day go, you know what, I've actually been really happy, I've done a lot of things and be grateful for that because you don't realise how good that is until you're at a really low point in your life, like.
I think,
some lad wrote a book. It was the review was in the paper, and one of his quotes was like, "Happiness isn't the target."
Yeah.
Like the end result of I want to be happy. Like that's not the actual target.
It's whatever's more. Doing what you love. It's doing what you love. That just happens to make it. But doing what you love just happens to make you
happiness
happy.
Is a byproduct. It's not the target.
It's the same with like all these external factors of doing something you love. Like nobody. People who've ever got like extremely rich have been for two reasons. They've either won the lottery or they've done something they love. And now people will say like, they're doing and like happiness is kind of that same external gift for doing what you love.
Yeah. And for being engaged.
The same as money. Like it's like you don't do what you love to be happy or to get money. You do what you love or you get money and you're happy because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
Completely different things. So I think if you think. There's a difference as well. That's why we were talking about earlier about people wanting to or not being able to find what they love, so then they think they find it, but then like a lot of the time that you could be doing what you love because without realizing you're looking for those external factors, and then you end up never getting it, and you end up feeling like it was all a waste of time. Like so, it is kind of be cautious, like
having good routines and all that. Retirement kills people.
Yeah.
They're like, oh fuck, sick of working, you can't wait to retire. And then they retire. Then
that's mad. That's really interesting. That's Yeah.
So it's about the routines.
That's mad.
How were we? We're probably on a long time, aren't we?
50 minutes. So some going. Is there anything you want to say in particular?
Have you got any other little nuggets of wisdom?
The conversation just happened to like play like. That just happened. Yeah. It happened the way it happened. I don't know. No, there's not really.
Oscar, I want to know what other items of clothing. This is a very nice T-shirt.
Yeah,
I'd like to have that myself. What other items are there?
I have only 4 because again, like it's an expensive thing, and obviously I have to sell all my.
And where can I buy it?
So like you can buy it online because I don't have like a physical store. Yep. So like again, sometimes with the website, I have trouble like looking like when people look it up, it doesn't really come up. This nightclub in like I don't know Sydney or something comes up.
Okay.
So like if you go onto like the Facebook page Club Deluxe,
that's more reliable.
At Club Deluxe.ie is like your Instagram at. It's on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. So like if you go onto that and then there's just a shop now button and
Mm.
then like sometimes I put up discounts where you can like get the price
Right.
down and or like get free
So
shipping.
when you said 4 things, what are the 4 things?
So I have 4 t-shirts. So I have this one and then
Yeah.
I have 3 other style t-shirts.
Okay, right.
There was something I meant to just give you this note that you were saying earlier. You were saying this was a while back. You said not a while back, but earlier on in the podcast, you said I regret not writing down my progress to where I got now, but like if you start writing stuff down now, like you'll only be missing the first chapter. Like.
I know, yeah. That's actually something I've been actually really like. Again, like I don't like saying things too much because I feel like it doesn't happen. Even with this whole thing of me moving to Cork and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really tell anyone because I feel like if I put stuff too much out there, it doesn't really happen. If you tell people your dreams and your goals, it's like it goes in your head that you've already done it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, it
You
just
become too content with the
Yeah.
fact that you're going to do it
Yeah.
someday.
Yeah. You're already wearing the badge.
Yeah.
So no, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm there. Yeah.
That was something I meant to ask you.
one of the things like I would like to do is probably actually write my own book on like human psychology, mindset, and all this because it's something I've really loved the last while since I found out about it and found the effect of it and all this stuff like and how it works on me and how it works on different people and how it has changed my life.
Yeah. Okay. And you talking about human psychology, just like did anything in particular, or just overall how kind of we work? How?
I think what I talk about is like obviously I dropped out of school and stuff and how we run on this system of you start school, you go into another school, you go into another school and basically people are telling you what to do in your life and how to rule your life where like if you follow those people you'll get where those people got.
Yeah.
So you'll be stuck in that 9 to 5 job all your life or whatever, Whereas like if you take that risk or whatever it is of starting your business or whatever, you can achieve more than those people there.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've stepped out and done. And I mean, I've had lots of hate for it or whether it was with my fitness or my brand. But then do you know what happens is those people that hate you or those people that like doubt you, they'll come back when you succeed and they'll be like, show me.
Can I have euro?
Yeah. Or like,
Can I have a euro?
How have you done this? Or like, will you help me? You know?
Yeah.
People only like to come back when they see you doing good and they want to be friends with you then because you're getting your name out there, you've a brand, you can give them free stuff, and
what do you say then?
Oh,
Get away from me.
No, like I mean, I'm just one of those, and it could be good and bad in a way. I'm one of those people that like I will help someone, like whether like I probably won't give them free T-shirts, but like I will give them that book that I listened to that changed my life. Because I want to help others, whether they've done something bad to me or like I just like helping others because again it comes back to give. And then you get it back,
Yeah, that's really.
Actually, something I was thinking of, you were talking to around the time of your launch, Ellie Kelly's manager or something, wasn't it?
Connor Ryan.
Is he not? Yeah.
Oh no, he was at my launch party.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but like, what was it like to meet like the manager of influencers? Seeing like people making those kind of connections, like I said, it'd be really interesting.
Manager, who's this?
He'd be a manager of a few different influencers. Like
no, he's not a manager.
Is he not?
No, he is an influencer himself.
Am I mixing up with someone else? Isn't there another guy?
Nathan Adams, I think. No,
I thought
he's a manager of Ellie Kelly.
Oh, okay. I've completely picked up.
Actually, that's another thing. I used to have a manager, and like I signed like all these contracts and all this, but like, and I mean he could be watching this right now, and I mean we still chat and stuff, but it was kind of more like they weren't doing much work, and like it didn't basically end on a good note. So like I basically just kind of got rid of him. I was like, I'm going to do my own stuff, and
And you might, I suppose it depends on, like there's a lot of stuff that sounds like you're doing yourself. Like I think when people see a lot of these like influencers and stuff, like it comes across like, two things I think people don't understand, that there's a lot more behind than you just uploading photos onto Instagram. Like there's a lot more stuff that goes into it that the average spectator wouldn't know. But the other thing is that you seem to, unlike a lot of the others that probably don't need a manager, that you're learning all the terminology and you're learning all the business stuff yourself, which there's not many of them doing. Like so, for the foreseeable future, like you could be good without one for now, like. And
well, one thing I try not to do is like I don't want to be the average influencer. I don't want to be the average person. I want to be that person that everyone looks up to and everyone goes, you know what, you've completely changed my life. Because I've got messages like that.
Yeah.
Like I got a message recently from a lady, a homeless person. I shared it on my Instagram a few times and stuff.
No.
So basically, I was in Dublin one day and I was always interested in homeless people and why people are homeless and what happened and all this. Right? So I went up to this lady in Dublin and I just started talking to her. You know, she seemed like a very nice lady and she didn't seem like she was taking drugs or drinking or you know. So I was like, look, I'll just go over, I'll talk to her and see why she's here, what happened, and what's her story. You know, because I'm interested in people's stories. I want to know if you succeeded. I want to know how you succeeded. I want to know if you failed. I want to know how you failed. You know. Yeah. So I went over. I started talking to her. Chatted with her for about like an hour and a half, and nearly missed my train, all this. But she told me her whole story and like everything, and I kind of started talking to her then, and I kind of gave her like a motivational speech, like, you know, because I love doing that as well. Yeah. And then like 4 months later or something like that, she texted me on Facebook, cause like I gave her the video I made to watch, and she said she watched that and like she really enjoyed my speech and stuff. And she texted me like a message saying that I got her up off the street. Like I got her
That's
up,
insane.
like motivated her to get up off the street. Like, and I mean, like I nearly broke down into tears. That's
unreal.
I had the power and the words to actually physically get someone up off the street. Someone that is at their lowest point in life, that is out on the street begging for money to get them up. And
you went sharing with her, like sharing your stuff and your hopefulness, like.
Yeah. And I mean, things like that, like it goes back to that whole give thing. Yeah. You know, I mean, such good things happened to me then after that. You know. Yeah. And I think it's about like helping as many people as you can, which is what I try to do through my social media and stuff as well. And I think then when you get a brand or whatever,
you have the audience.
People support you then, you know. That's one of the reasons
they
why.
understand the hope. Like,
that's one of the reasons why people bought this stuff, is because they seen I tracked like most of my progress on this, and they seen how much work I put into it, and then when I help people, they feel that energy and stuff, and then they try to help me when I do something, you know. And again, it comes back to that whole law of attraction thing, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Time's now 59 minutes. So
I think, did you want to ask me about the whole Cork thing as well?
Oh yeah, I suppose that was something with the, because I remember watching your story and it was like you were talking about kind of in a sense reverse manifestation, but what's the story with Cork when you moved to Cork?
So like I've basically like kind of handed in my notice and stuff to my job, and next week is my last week in my job, and then I'll be moving. And I suppose the whole reason for it is, again, like I just want to try something new. And the reason where I got this idea is when I was at my lowest point in life a few months ago or a few weeks ago, you know, and I just like didn't feel any hope anywhere. You know, I said, look, I need a big change in my life. I need something new. I need another challenge like I had before with the brand or the money I had to collect or whatever. I need another challenge. I suppose that's where the idea came from. And again, like I've done a lot. Again, it comes back to the whole thing where I didn't let my small town stop me from achieving big success. Yeah. But now I want to kind of move on to somewhere bigger to even achieve more, you know, and to meet new people, because like I know a lot of people in this town, and I'm very known in this town as well, like in a good way now, which I used to be known in a bad way. But you know, so I want to do that somewhere else now. I want to like
Cork's definitely a good place to do
it. I want to get myself a name in Cork now, or whether it's I move somewhere else, you know. Yeah. I just want to meet new people, and again, you never know who you could meet, and this is again kind of coming back to taking a walk. I'm basically taking a walk
to Cork.
To Cork.
Through Cork.
And not knowing who I could meet on my journey, you know. I could meet someone that could invest in my brand, or could, I don't know, anything like that.
And like even if you succeed outside of Thurles, it's still a benefit to Thurles, because other people from Thurles then will be like, oh sure, that Oskar guy, he's after going off and doing this, like if he's from Thurles he can do things. So it's like, even though like you might even if you don't stay around Thurles, like you'll still have that positive impact on people in Thurles.
Yeah.
Who look at you as kind of like an example of what they could do.
And actually, just as you're saying that, I'd love to see like even stuff like you're doing with this podcast or whatever. I love seeing people do something outside of their comfort zone in Thurles, because I think there's not a lot of people doing stuff like this because they're afraid of, oh, what will he say? It's like there's all you can do in this town is like just hurling and the basic stuff, and then once you start doing different stuff, you're
keep
like,
the head down, don't make a fool of yourself.
It's like you do this and like be a sheep and follow the rest, and if you don't do this, then people are going to take the piss out of you because you're not doing what the other 96% of the people are doing or whatever. Do you know that kind of way? Like I'd love to see other people in newspapers or on TVs going like making a big name for himself in Thurles and kind of doing what I done, not in the way of going to the gym or whatever, like anything it is, like even this podcast or something, I love to see
just movement
movement
in general, just like to go like a path other than hurling or drinking in bushes. Drinking in bushes can be fun. I'm not going to say anything actually. There's just so much fun. There's so much.
Not earlier if that is someone's passion.
Just make sure the bush has blackberries. You'll definitely get hungry eventually.
No, that's a great bonus,
But it's definitely good to see movement that's not like against hurling. Like hurling will always thrive in this town.
But just some people will feel like like it mightn't be their passion, but they feel like they have to go towards it. There's obviously people out there who are like really passionate about hurling. Like they're never.
Hurling is the coolest sports ever. Like
I never got into it personally. Like I like the sport, but
me neither. I understand it more as an adult than it is as a child. I understand that the kind of the social fabric.
I know, like as a kid, when you get bullied by hurlers, you kind of tend to not like hurling as much.
You can kick a hurler.
All the same, I really want that cake now.
Just
kind of looking at it there for a while.
I think we're going to finish off. This one's a bit. Well, how long was our last one?
45.
Yeah.
Wow, we're 15 minutes better than we were last week. Wow, that's. I don't know if that could be worth so good. Someone watching or listening might be late for something. We apologize if you're late for something. So anything else before we finish up? How do you think about the podcast? What do you think as our first guest?
Oh no, I think it's cool. Like I love the whole thing of it because I don't know anyone else doing podcasts in Thurles,
Yeah.
And again, it's good to see someone doing something different and someone trying something different,
Yeah.
I think it can really go a far way if you just keep working on it. And again, it's all about how much work you're willing to put into this, how much this will grow and how much of an audience you'll have and everything else.
It was a photo today though, like especially between the two, like it was like a conversation.
I think the last one was.
It was interesting for me because I didn't know a lot of stuff that you talk about.
Yeah.
I'm not on Instagram either, so I'm not clued in with like.
That's why it's going to be
kind of stuff. So it's interesting for me to even just not say as much as kind of.
Same. I don't know what your profile is or what the stuff is, nice, but obviously you cherry picked Oskar because it's. Like it actually matches up. Massive.
I've been following you home for years. All for this day.
Dreaming and reaching and doing stuff.
But what's interesting about this is like next week then we'll have a guest where one of you could relate to her. Do you know what I mean? Whoever like is going to be on, and then I think like the more like that was interesting. Where it's like we don't want to get guests on for the sake of getting guests on. Maybe Dustin the Turkey, he'll probably be a bit just for the sake. He's going to be on soon. But I don't know if we'll get much value out of Dustin the Turkey, but that might just be the sake. But every guest we get, we don't want to just be getting them on for the sake of it.
We want to celebrity guest.
we want to actually like learn from as well. Like I learned from talking to you, you know what I mean? Like don't we go coming on like some shitty episode of Primetime and just being like asking questions.
It's not just like copy and paste questions. It's like it's actually people who listen to this or like kind of watch this will get a feel for kind of more of who you are rather than just reading your Facebook page. Like rather than reading just the odd post here and there, they get more of a feel of what you like to talk about and what way you approach talking about things, and
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Excellent.
I was looking at the camera. It's weird. I don't know. I'm supposed to look at the camera because the data says that you'd prefer this if I look at the camera. This is weird.
Says.
How do people do that? This is weird. Try look at the camera and talk to it. It's weird. It's just that we'll get over it.
It's unnerving,
It's like there's no one there. It's a piece of plastic. Like what am I doing? Like, so I think we'll finish up for that one.
Thanks, Oskar. Brilliant.
Yeah, sound. It was cool. It was really interesting. Good first guest. Thanks to the Green Sheep again. As you said, don't like nice cafes, don't come here. Do come here if you like nice cafes on Friar Street. What are you gonna say? Sorry.
The fact thing.
Let's do a segment before we go. We do a thing every week where we have Stevie research a fact, and he doesn't tell us about it, but he's always going to tell us about it. So we're going to learn a fact now.
This one stuck in my mind because like personal fitness, sport, that kind of thing. I found something kind of on the lines of that. But in a lot of sports, people huddle together to tell each other tactics.
Yeah.
Do you know where that actually came from? Like why people do it? It wasn't just like a teamwork thing. It was like back in I can't remember the date now. I think it was like 1800 or something. But it was like there was a Washington D.C. American football team, and back then in American football, you literally shouted your next play, so the other team knew exactly what your next play was going to be. There was none of that kind of trying to guess or trying to figure it out.
Okay.
But they had an all-deaf team in Washington D.C. for one of the universities, and that team then decided they were going to use hand signals because, like, in kind of sign language to kind of say what they were going to do next. So the other teams couldn't do it, but then they got too used to kind of having that advantage. So when they played teams then who were deaf as well, and they picked up on it, and they were able to know what they were doing, they managed to actually just come up with the idea of huddling together to share their tactics.
Signals.
So like if it hadn't been for that deaf team, like people might have huddled together in sports.
That's mad. That is nearly as like that. Yeah, it's definitely as random as the other one. The last week one was man. Yeah, so we're going to do another thing as well, like the word of the day. We're going to try and split it out between. I think we just kind of got lost in that conversation, but I was just thinking there when I said talking to a piece of plastic, like I just realized it's going to look like I was like looking at the audience, being like, "There's a piece of plastic. You're a person. You've got a good heart." And we're going to end on doing a word of a day. We're going to do a word of a day, like of our word of a week. A word that you probably haven't heard of. This word is a Welsh word, and it's hairat. It's the feeling for a deep, wistful, nostalgic sense of longing for home, a home that is no longer or perhaps never was.
Oh.
Yeah. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to get 100 subscribers because I've OCD when it comes to URLs, and YouTube won't give us like youtube.com/Crahig. You know that? They won't give it to us until we have 100 subscribers. So give us that. Thanks. I need just bye. It's weird. Fucking the camera thing is weird. Like I don't know if I can do that. Like, do people like do that? Like like vlogging? Like they do that every day. Like,